aren't quite dead broke, as they say. $1 million in taxpayer money reportedly set to go to former President Bill Clinton this year alone. Washington Free Beacon reporter Lachlan Markay has the details on what he has found and what the Beacon has found. Lachlan, thanks for coming in. They have received, the Clintons as a pair have received $16 million from taxpayers since 2001, right?
That's right. And, you know, this is something that I don't think Americans in general would object to. I don't think it's particularly controversial. We don't want presidents dying as Harry Truman did in poverty. But I think, you know, controversy arises when Hillary Clinton starts making these comments about how much she and Bill have struggled since leaving the White House.
Well, there's no danger they're going to die in poverty. I mean, for example, not only the $16 million they've received, they also got, by the way, $100 million for giving speeches, which isn't exactly like breaking rocks. It's not hard duty. But the GSA also budgets about $450,000 a year for President Clinton's office space. I'm told that's a little unusual, right?
Well, there could also be another controversial aspect there, because while Hillary Clinton obviously has not declared a run for president, she's widely expected to, and she's running what looks a lot like a de facto campaign right now in her book tour and other activities. So the question arises, is taxpayer money supporting activities that could objectively be deemed political activity? It's something that should be looked into.
Well, particularly when they're making so much money on their own by giving, when you're making $100 million on speeches, do you really need that much more from taxpayers?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's something that that Congress or the GSA should take a look at. You know, there is a case to be made, and most Americans would probably agree that for the service presidents give to their country, that they should be supported after leaving office. But I think it's laughable to say that the Clintons have been struggling since they've left.
Well, you say it's laughable. I'm wondering if the public will buy this sort of poor me attitude that the Clintons and Biden and others now have.
I think she's really trying to draw a contrast with Mitt Romney. I think that's very sort of the not-so-subtle point in a lot of what she's been saying. But when you look at people like Romney, widely successful business people, you know, this is a guy who made his money being very successful in the private sector. I think Americans have a much more favorable view of a fortune made through those sorts of avenues than they would of someone who became rich purely through sort of political pull.
If you get above the double digits in millions, I know we have inflation, and I know $1 million isn't what it used to be, but double-digit millions above that, you just can't consider yourself not well off, can you?
Yeah, it's sort of been mind-boggling to watch Clinton not exactly double down, but certainly stand by and try to explain away her initial comments. She seems to be utterly convinced that there's some categorical difference between her and the Mitt Romneys or the David Kochs of the world.
Lachlan Markay. Lachlan, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, meanwhile, Vice President